One of my biggest mistakes I ever made on a job was we did it was like 280 shirts or something. It was a lot of shirts. And I did the flag on the sleeve backwards.
The wrong direction.
So I go to deliver these shirts. I'm pumped, right? This is when we very first started. And the guy who received them pulls them out. He's like, well, we can't accept these. And I'm like, what? My heart just sunk, dude.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Nailed It. I'm your host, Brandon Jensen, and today's guest is Jonny Johnson, the owner of Lift Threadz, a branding powerhouse that's become a one-stop shop for logo design, merch, and brand marketing. Jonny's path to Lift Threadz wasn't a straight line. He's owned multiple businesses, each one teaching him something new until he found his true passion, helping brands stand out. It's a journey full of twists, lessons, and a whole lot of hustle. Let's dive in. This is Nailed It.
We do the military here, the Air National Guard. We do all their gear.
That's cool.
And one of my biggest mistakes I ever made on a job was we did it was like 280 shirts or something. It was a lot of shirts. And I did the flag on the sleeve backwards.
The wrong direction.
So it's always stars facing front, always. Like stars, like you're running into battle.
Yeah.
So I go to deliver these shirts. I'm pumped, right? This is when we very first started. And the guy who received them pulls them out. He's like, well, we can't accept these. And I'm like, what? And this is when I'm not making money. I'm like putting money in the business.
Yeah.
So what do you mean you can't? He's like, the flag's on the wrong way. My heart just sunk, dude. Not only because I look stupid, but we just lost more money than I probably would have made on the job. So that was the biggest mistake we made, dude.
So you guys go back and reprint them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to for contact.
Dude.
Not only we reprinted them, I think we reprinted them in like 2 days.
Oh yeah,
And then because they had to have them, and then I was like, "Do you guys want these?" They're like, "No, literally that's like, if it was too big or too small, or that's fine." He's like, "But the flag the wrong way, we can't do in the military."
Yeah,
so fixed it.
Makes sense. You got to respect the flag,
But
man.
Oh yeah, and they're still a client today, so it's like you take a hit, but
I mean, at the end of the day, you take care of them, right? I mean, look, I always say there's nothing that can't be fixed, right? I had this guy kind of shadowing me over the last couple of weeks, and I got this phone call, and this guy had fallen through the sheetrock in an attic. It was 27 feet above the ground, so he caught himself, which is good, right? But created this mess, and the owners were coming back in town, and I got the phone call. I said, "Okay, hey, let's do this. I'm gonna call this guy. Send me a video of this." I said, do what you can. Let's try and put it back together. And we almost had it cleaned up before the owners got back in town. And, obviously let them know, hey, we had an accident, guy's safe. And they were kind of like, oh yeah, just, most important, sheetrock you can fix, right?
Yeah.
Broken body is a little bit harder to fix. And the guy was like, oh wow, you handled that really well. And I'm like, well, I'm not happy about it, but I'm like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you do what you can, you fix it.
I can get mad about it, but what good does that do? Right?
Well, at the end of the day, it's going to cost you a little bit of money, but like that client's probably always going to come back to you because they know not everything goes perfect, but they're going to come back to you. They're going to come back to you, and that residual is probably better than having to find a new client every month because you don't fix it.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me, give me a little bit of history, right? You grew up here in Salt Lake. Where'd you go to school? How'd you get into? Because you're kind of like a serial entrepreneur, right? Yeah. I know you've got a few businesses. You've dabbled in a bunch of businesses.
Yeah.
And then how did you? Because it seems like as I've watched you, Lift Threadz is like a passion for you, right?
Yeah.
Some of these other things that I know you've been involved with, we've talked about them, but I don't get the same passion when you've talked about it. I'm like, oh, hey, we do this. And, oh, that's cool. But like when you talk about the Lift Threadz, like even just at the beginning, you're talking about the military and everything. So give us a little kind of history of
First, thank you. I am passionate about it, but so I grew up in South Jordan, Utah my whole life. My dad was a general contractor.
Okay, nice.
And
Very cool.
He actually runs the Slick, or he doesn't run. He runs all the classes for the Slick construction management courses.
Oh, cool.
My little brother actually teaches a bunch of classes over there too. Still very much involved. But so because of that, my dad we'd build a house in South Jordan, then he'd buy a lot, 2 lots down. We'd sell that as a spec. I didn't know at the time what he was doing. I just thought he was crazy. But, as a builder, he would build equity, sell it, buy a new house, build a new house, build it, sell it. So we moved 4 times within like a 4-block radius growing up, but it was always the same. And my mom and dad didn't want us to move because they didn't want us to pull us from school and stuff. So I grew up in South Jordan my whole life, went to Bingham High School, went on a mission to the Philippines, an LDS mission for 2 years, came back.
Do you speak Tagalog?
I do a little bit. Where I went, it was a Longo. It was yeah. So
okay.
it's like something even more that no one uses. So it's like something even more useless than like Tagalog. At least some people, but no one speaks beside.
I've been to the Philippines. It's wild. But anyway,
it is incredible. Yeah. So I went there. Came back. Went to UVU. I didn't like school. I actually got a full ride scholarship to UVU because in high school we were crazy. We got written in the newspaper 3 or 4 different times as being a bench breakers because our crowd, dude, we would show up to the games early and do warm-ups. And we would learn like their star player's girlfriend's name. And then we would chant star player's girlfriend's name. I mean, we were wild, dude. We go to girls' names, we go to dance comp. We were wild. So I got a full ride scholarship to UVU because of that. And so I went to UVU. I hated school. I didn't want to go to school. I made it a goal. I went there for 5 semesters. And I didn't buy a book for 5 semesters. I didn't pass a lot of classes either. But found my wife, and started doing summer sales, and then did that for forever. And
what summer sales? Alarms, pest control?
So in 2007, I started selling alarms for Pinnacle Security. I don't know if you remember.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why I think I came to your home all those years ago. Is we put an alarm in here, like years and years ago.
Yeah.
And then, so I did that for forever. I ran a bunch of teams. I got some pretty awesome contacts and then did that. And along the way, like I, would buy into a company, sell a company, or I would start a company and sell it. But nothing really like stuck. I always went back to sales because for that time, it's really, the money's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. Because those summertime sales, it's 3 months, 4 months, 6 months.
4 months. Well, now, and when I started, it was a 4-month thing. You go when school gets out, and you come home when school gets back in session, right?
Yeah, because they're trying to capture those college kids.
Yeah, and you're making 60, 70 grand in 4 months, and it's like for a college kid,
that's a lot of money.
It's money, yeah. So and then more, right? And so, but then it's evolved to now. It's like a year-round. People are moving their families out to warm weather places where you can sell year-round. And but when I was started, I extended for a month, and that was kind of crazy because I stopped doing school. So did that. Yeah, I did that for a long time. In fact, I did that till about 2021.
Okay, so not that long ago.
Yeah, because it was always that thing that I could fall back on and just go out and make a quick. I mean, I could go for a blitz and make 10 grand in a week. Yeah. And then it would fuel my entrepreneurial, like, oh man, I want to go invest in this or do this, or I can afford to lose this money because I know I can go, so I can take a little bit bigger risks. And so,
do you feel like when you were, in the more recent years, do you feel like you were able to connect with people better because you were a little bit older and sell better?
Yes and no. Connect with people, yes, because I learned. Listen, you're knocking sometimes 300 doors a day. Every time you knock on a door, you don't know who's going to answer the door. I had biker dudes. I had a dude pull a gun on me, put it right to my head. I had these old grandmas like saying bad words. I had like people who used to be in. I had a lady who used to be in Playboy. I sold her an alarm, and I can't remember where it was, but
was she hot?
I mean, she was like 90.
Okay.
Probably not 90 because I don't know if it's right, but she was one of the early.
Yeah.
It's a mixed bag, but you have to, when you knock on that door, it's such a quick reaction. Someone opens that door, you're immediately trying to figure out, how do I sell this person?
Yeah.
And so you're not going to talk to a dad who opens the door at 6:00 at night and you can tell he's just frazzled and he's got like what seems to be 30 little kids running around behind him, doesn't have the time. You're going to talk to him differently than grandma who maybe has recently lost her husband. So connecting with those different types of people at every door 100 times a day certainly helps you to connect with people on a higher level as you learn that stuff quicker. But as I got older into it, I started to just loathe it, man. like I hated it. It was I called it, putting on my Halloween mask every day because I hated it. I'd have a pit in my stomach. I'd now go out and I'd smile for 6-7 hours and talk to people like I liked them, like I cared, but it was all an act. Yeah. So could I connect quicker? Yes. But was I more efficient? Probably not, because I didn't love it. I loved it at the beginning, dude. It was a game. I didn't care how much money I was making. I just loved.
It was a challenge.
I loved winning. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
especially when there's a group of you and you go back at the end of the day and everybody's in the apartment. It's like, yeah, I sold 100 or, whatever. And, some guy's like, oh, I got 50. And you're like,
Yeah.
bro, I smoked you.
And you never want to be the guy that was like least, because you're in a room in sales, you're in a room full of alphas, right? Like, I mean, you probably shouldn't be in that room if you're not trying to win.
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, we're getting in fights, like, talking about who's going to, and it was a good atmosphere. Honestly, I enjoyed that.
Because it's competitive.
So competitive. And it drives you to be better than you were. I wouldn't have made near as much money if it wasn't as competitive.
Were there any females that were out?
Yeah. When I went, there wasn't as many. Some of the husbands would like have their wives come out with them. And like now though, dude, women rock that industry.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If I knock on your door, or like a cute, 21 to 18-year-old girl knocks on your door, who are you going to listen to? Not this guy.
I'm going to be a lot nicer to the,
exactly.
to the girl, just
and those
by
girls
nature,
are,
right?
Hey, those girls are sharks though, man. They are sharks, dude. They are so good. I remember this girl, and she actually has an Instagram following of like 2 million. Like, she's crazy. She is, and I can't remember her name. She worked for Ant, but she set the bar, dude. She'd go out and just sell like 10 a day, work like 3 days a week, be a mom the other days, and just dominate everybody. And I think she kind of said, what was her name? Bolin was her last name. Bolin. But her Instagram's like Fifth Avenue or Avenue Saks or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, but she crushed. I think she set the bar, letting women know, like, dude, you can go out and dominate this industry, because knocking on someone's door. I mean, I don't think I'm like the most like happy-go-lucky guy. So when I knock on a door, I have to put on that front. But a girl knocks on your door, you're kind of interested.
Yeah.
So that nowadays they dominate. In fact, a lot of the top salespeople in door-to-door are women right now.
I believe it.
Yeah.
It's like when you see a woman in construction, it was kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a woman, right?
And I bet they do really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's just not a lot, right?
Yeah.
I think in my career I've seen like 3.
Yeah.
Right. One was a mason, one was an electrician, one was a painter.
It's fun. I don't remember seeing any when my dad was a general. I worked with him. I mean, I'd get up 6 a.m. $1 a day in lunch, baby. $1 a day in lunch. I had 6 a.m. to 5 o'clock at night, and then $1 a day in lunch. That's what we made. But I never saw any women. It was never saleswomen. I mean, we had our lumber salesman come by, bring us donuts like once every 2 weeks, and never a woman. I think there's more probably now than there was.
There's definitely more. There's still not. I mean, there's still not a lot. I mean, I do think you start to get, once you get in some of those bigger organizations, you'll see some, some women who have management roles and things like that. But I even when I went to school, because I graduated with a degree in construction management, there was just, I mean,
not a lot of women.
Yeah, I can't remember how many, but it's like there was like a small group. I don't know, maybe 10.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Talking to my dad about it, like he in a construction management course, he has, dude, it's fun. He talks about his students. Yeah, and I think, just looking at the landscape of everything going on, AI, I think the trades are going to be the most important job skills you can learn. I was talking to my buddy, dude. You can make websites in like 30 minutes using AI now. So like all these coders who spent all this time making all this money, now they're like, what now? But the trades, like construction. But my dad said he's coaching his classes. Dude, he'll get like a 70-year-old guy who just wants to come learn the trade. Yeah, like it's crazy. But then I think he's been doing that for like 19 years. And I remember just a very small handful of women even taking his class. Yeah. So
tell me this, and I want to circle back to the sales thing, but your dad teaching these courses, does he say like the class sizes have shrunk?
Yeah, teeny. In fact, they almost did away with the classes. They almost did away with the construction management. Yeah. And my dad went in. So what they do at Slick is they build a house and then they sell it. And my dad went in and changed kind of the whole way they do it. So the school makes money on it now. So it kind of, I wouldn't say he saved the program.
Helps fund the program a little bit, right?
But so there was a year we had like 3 students. I think average class he has like 7 to 10 students.
Which is just insane.
That's it.
But that's in par with what the statistic is, and which is for every 100 that retire, there's 14 that replace them.
Which is crazy because how many houses are going up right now?
Yeah. Well, and you think, and I know right now specifically the entry market, for new home buyers or rental properties is a little bit slow. And I think maybe interest rates soften a little bit and that starts to pick up. Yeah. But, from what we're seeing, remodels, high end, that upper tier. It's not like, it is full speed ahead.
Yeah.
And, to your point, if you think a plumber's expensive today, wait 10 years.
Wait until there's like, instead of picking from 5, you're picking from 2.
Yeah.
And those 2 are like, hey, bro, let's raise them up. Let's monopolize
and
this thing.
And now they're like 60 years old, and they're like, yeah, we only work 2 days a week.
And that's all. And that's all I need to do, because I'm doing this to help people now.
Yeah.
Like really, like my dad, a lot of his subs he used, we still use, and they limp over to our house, bro. They're kind of, they're getting up there in age, and they're like, we don't do this for anyone but Boyd, because he's done so much for us and his kids. And they'll get in there, but they are wizards.
Yeah.
All of them, because they've just been, that's just what they do.
They've done it. Yeah.
They're like 60-year-old plumber goes in and just within like a minute fixes whatever it is,
Yep.
But yeah, those guys are gone, like you said. And then my dad even said, like, it's hard because back then it was total blue collar, like owner on the site, like,
Yeah.
And that's the way my dad liked to do business. My dad ran a general contracting company since I was born. He started when he was like 17.
Yeah.
And he went around and flyered. That's how he got his bit, and he only worked with people who the owner, they could talk, right? And he said now it's not like, a lot of the owners aren't on the job site, and it's hard for him, because not because it's better or worse, because that's something what he's used to.
Yeah.
And so he said it's hard for him to like go to a job site and not find the guy to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole generational gap I think that whole generation is kind of moving its way out. And the new generation of like what you do, like I don't think you're on the job site as much, but you're more taking care of the important big stuff. So my dad also would never grow. He'd have a crew of 5-6 guys. That was max, right?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be on the site, where you can now have a foreman over 12 jobs.
That's what we're working towards. That's what we're working towards.
Yeah. But my dad, I'd always talk to him, because as I got older, I'm like, I seen that, like he grew up with like Lane Myers Homes,
Oh, yeah.
Went to school with Lane, Lane's boy, good dude. And Tyler's his name. We still talk today. And I seen Lane like busting out all these crews, and I'm like, Dad, you should do that, because I want a pool,
Yeah.
And my dad's like, no, because I can't. He tried it, and he's like, I gotta be there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think that type of mentality in construction might be phasing out a little bit with this older generation, so to scale.
Well, and I think the other thing that we're seeing is owners are seeing the value in designers, right? And some of these organizers, they're seeing that value, so they're hiring those people.
Yep.
And then what's happening is we're going directly to the designer when there's a change or something needs to be adjusted, and then we're going back to the owners and saying, "Hey, got to make this change. Already talked to the designers. This is what they said. Want you to approve it."
Yep.
And then they go, "Oh, great."
Oh, I love it.
Yep.
And you have probably a photo or a picture that's been like
picture. We've done
design,
a sketch,
like so good. Yeah.
And then they don't like, because they make all the decisions up front, and then from there it's kind of like they're just a passenger, and they get in and out of the vehicle whenever they want. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. Obviously, remodels, they're there a lot more.
Yeah.
But new construction, we'll do new construction. Won't see the owners for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? Just like, oh, yeah. Have you guys been by the house? No, it's been a minute. Like, oh,
where you at?
Yeah, the roof's on, just
Yeah.
FYI. Like,
Yeah.
So, but going back to sales, so
yeah.
you did that, and that's kind of helped you, launch some of your entrepreneurial spirit. And so you went through a number of different companies. Did you start Lift Threadz? Did you buy Lift Threadz? Did you invest in it? Tell me a little bit about that. And
yeah. So going back to 2010, how everyone asks, like, how did you get into this? Because I don't dress particularly fat. You've been to my office. When I go to the office, dude, you'll be lucky if you catch me with like anything that matches on my body. Yeah. Like I kind of dressed out a little bit today because I want to look good for you guys, whatever. But like I like to be comfortable. But in 2010, I was the president of sales of an alarm company, and I could not find a vendor to make us good gear. Couldn't find it. I mean, we went through 3 or 4.
Because it's like, oh, we've got this Gildan t-shirt.
Just garbage, bro. And I'm like, I need good stuff.
Yeah.
And no one had it. And so I taught myself Illustrator. I found the different like wholesale suppliers, and I started a company called The Company Apparel, and I just started banging stuff out, and it was good. It was good stuff. And so I ended up starting to do stuff for other people. I merged my company with my buddy Mike Hartle, good dude, Fresco Press, and we were doing stuff for like Comic-Con. I mean, we did stuff for Diesel Brothers when they very first started. We started doing stuff. I mean, we were big time, but I was trying to balance, and I think it was fair to Mike because he was busting his guts at that shop while I was out traveling, selling, helping my
Yeah.
teams. And mentally, that didn't sit well with me. And Mike was working his guts out, and another partner named Dash. And so anyway, we ended up a buyout agreement. He bought me out of the company, and like it was good. It was a great deal for both of us, I think. I went and just did sales, but I loved designing. Like you love designing houses.
Yeah.
I love clothes. I love apparel. And so I had this bug. So I started another one, and it actually came my cousin's husband, my cousin's ex-husband is the best graphic designer I've ever met in my whole life, but he's not a sales guy. He's a graphic designer. You know what I mean?
Yep. He's behind the computer.
Yeah. And he loves Toyota Land Cruisers. Loves them. So we actually, I came on to help him. We started selling apparel, selling a brand called Cruiser Gear. It's still around today. And we gave away FJ40 Land Cruisers. We gave away like 4 or 5 of them. Well, he and I didn't see eye to eye on some stuff. And in the meantime, we had started a company called Cruiser Promo Solutions, where we were doing the promotional side of stuff, because he was so good at design, but he didn't want to design anything but cruisers, right? So when we split, he took Cruiser Gear and I took Cruiser Promos, renamed it to Lift Threadz. And then we started doing gear, and this was in 2021. And so just started, but I was still doing sales, and I owned a trailer dealership at that time too. So I started operating out of the top floor of our trailer dealership. It was probably about as big as this room.
Okay.
And I first ordered 100 blade polos, because I couldn't. So from China, I designed Blade's a collarless polo. And when I designed it, I designed it specifically for door-to-door sales. So it was a jersey mesh, and it was snap buttons. It looked clean. It's clean.
Yeah.
I still use it. And so I designed that. We got 100 over, and then I sold them to a company. And he's like, "Hey, I need more of these. We got 400 reps. You only had 100." So I ordered another 1,000. We sold them that same company. I ordered 5,000 after that. And they were getting here pretty quick. It was a pretty good process. But at the 5,000, I decided to branch out and do like a hot pink and stuff. And we still have those. That was 2 years ago. We still have those because no one buys that crap. And that's the stuff you go on. But then I realized that I had something. I realized that there was more men out there that wanted good, versatile apparel that they could wear to work and then wear to football practice. They could wear to work and then lounge with their girls after, or their daughters or whoever, their wife, and not have to go change because they wanted to be comfortable.
Like, oh, I'm in this awful company gear. I'm going to come home and I'm going to change.
Yeah.
So I can feel like, I can relax, and I've got like nice stuff on.
Yeah. One of the best compliments I ever got is I got a picture of a whole team of door-to-door sales guys at the gym wearing my polos. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why are they wearing these polos? This is not a gym shirt. And they're like, it's their favorite shirt. They wear it to the gym. I had a softball team who was a door-to-door sales guy. They bought a bunch of them because they're like, we love your fit. Because when I'm designing clothes, I talked about this in another podcast, but Chip Wilson, he started Lululemon.
Yeah.
And the reason why he did it is because he was at a yoga class. Girl in front of him bent over. He could totally see through her sheer leggings. And so he wanted to fix that. He wanted to fix camel toe. And so he created, out of like nothing, this incredible brand that forever changed the way women go to Target. Like, think about the cultural change that Chip Wilson made in women forever. It's insane.
Yeah.
And then he started obviously designing other things. He added fabric. He added, I get excited talking about this. Read the book, Little Black Stretchy Pants. It's incredible.
Little Black Stretchy. Okay.
It's incredible, but his whole story. But he talks about how his goal wasn't to make billions of dollars. His goal was to fix an issue in the athleisure space. And what that was like, when he was at yoga, it was awkward for him as the only male in the room to like have all these women bending over, and it was see-through. Their stuff went sheer. And then women explained to him that they didn't like the camel toe effect and stuff like that. And so he fixed it. There's not, and I'm not saying I'm Chip Wilson by any means. The dude's he's crazy. The whole book is awesome. But I thought, man, there's not really a brand out there that accentuates a man's body, right? Like, yeah. And so everything that we design has like an athletic build fit. Like, you've tried our stuff on, tighter on the sleeves, longer on the body. And most of our stuff has raglan sleeves on it, so it accentuates a man's shoulders better. And a lot of men like our gear because I built it to where you could go to a meeting with someone very important, and then you could wear that same gear to play catch with your son, and you don't have to change. Yeah. And I think culturally with apparel now, it's different than it was. Like, it was, you wear a suit and tie if you're in an important position. I think now I don't see a lot of suit and ties out there. I see
you're
a lot
in a courtroom, man.
Yeah, exactly. Which hopefully not, right?
Yeah.
But I see a lot of people wearing like high functional gear, and so that's the direction that we go with Lift Threadz. So anyway, back to where he started. So we started printing, and then we would print other people's logos on our gear. Lift Threadz didn't exist yet, and so then we had people that would leave these companies, but they would contact me and say, hey, how can I just buy more polos? Or I started the thing called the Belichick, where it was a cutoff hoodie.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I got these from my
Good old
company.
Belichick.
We've got 2 Belichicks. The names of my clothes are funny. We did that for like the 3 polos are the Pinnacle, the Apex, and the Platinum. They're all alarm companies that have gone, and the Icon. They're all alarm companies that have since gone out of business or changed their name.
Yeah.
Caliber is another one that has, they changed their name. That's the name of our long sleeve and short sleeve. We have a Durf short, and it's a really lightweight short. You can figure out what that means. But so we started designing and putting our logos on stuff, other people's logos, and people were asking me, hey, can I buy just one of these? So I thought, well, geez, I need to put up a website. So we went from Lift promos, because Lift, the reason why Lift instead of cruiser promos, I didn't really have any type of tie to cruiser promos. So we did a DBA Lift promos. Lift to me is like, you're trying to do something to create a better situation for yourself. And that's what we do for companies. We create a better branding experience for these companies, lifting them
to a higher,
from a Gildan
standard.
to like a really custom, like high-end decoration. And so we started Lift Threadz, which to me is like, it's a high-end apparel company that will help, is a comfortable, functional apparel company. And so we started Lift Threadz, and we haven't done any marketing like that. We just kind of put up a site, threw up our blanks on there. Yeah. So like if people order from Lift Threadz, they don't even get a logo on it. It's just blank.
Just the tag on it or whatever. Yeah.
And so that's where Lift Threadz came from. And we didn't do any marketing. We just started doing marketing on them like 2 months ago, and it's doing really well.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how we came across everything. And that's how we started Lift Promos and Lift Threadz. Was just, I felt like there's a need there, because the other problem is in 2021 when we separated the companies, the problem with print and promo companies is you can't throw a rock and not hit one in Utah.
Yeah.
There's one on every corner, and they all fish from the same pond with blanks. So like Gildan 6210 Next Level, like the IND 4000s, the hoodies, which we still have access to, but I'd have clients who'd be like, hey, these guys can do it for 10 cents cheaper. And I'm like, do it, go. Like, that's fine. They'd always come back because of our design and stuff. But I realized that if I wanted to make a dent in the industry, I had to design my own blanks. And that's kind of why I started designing my own blanks, is because I knew if I was going to make it in this space, I needed to do that.
Yeah. So. And with some of that, obviously, I don't have a lot of experience. I have limited experience with some, apparel and different things. And obviously, you order 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 units, that it starts to really bring that price down, right?
Yep.
You're ordering, hey, I want to do 100 of these blanks. It's like, you're starting to pay more for it up front, which then raises that cost. So those blanks better be good, because like they got to justify the additional cost, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the things that I like about some of the stuff that I've tried on from you guys is it doesn't feel like a next level. It doesn't, and some of those brands, I've done some t-shirts before, and I did like a tri-blend. I think it was a next level, and it was like, hey, it was like pretty decent. But now that I've washed them a handful of times, now they're starting to look like, a little bit aged. So it's like, oh, okay, I got to get rid of these.
Yeah.
And with your guys' stuff, I feel like, I can wash it for a year and, 2 years later be wearing it, right?
Yep.
As long as I don't put the date on it.
Yeah. Well,
I always laugh at the gym. I'll be like, somebody's got a shirt on, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like, 2014. I'm like, oh, okay, that shirt's 11 years old.
That's a badge though, dude. That's like a badge. Funny, when I was serving my mission in the Philippines, a dude walks up and he's wearing a shirt with a guy I knew from from middle school. You know how you had we were the snow leopards and you put your name on it?
Yeah.
Dude, he was wearing a snow leopard shirt and it had my buddy's name on it anyway. So that's a badge, bro.
That's awesome.
But so no, and the other thing too is when on that first order of 100, we lost money because there was so much money in the R&D and stuff, but I was so hell bent on creating a blade polo for other companies that we just did that. So
it's sunk costs, right? I mean, you have to do those things.
Yeah. And now you see in our warehouses, we have 2 big warehouses we've probably got like 12,000 pieces in there. You've seen it. We do bags. We do really nice pullover hoodies. We have a golf line now called Lift Golf. We do fulfillment. We do it all. We specialize kind of, and this is where you and I reconnected, is when you called me up and you're like, hey, it's Tuesday and you're like, I need these shirts Thursday.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you hook it up? Dude, we got you, man. And we did them and they actually turned out so good. The Nailed It ones, dude, they turned out so good. I was so pumped about those. So we do that. We'll do like short. A lot of times the quantities are super high.
Yeah.
25. And you don't need that many. So when you called me, I think you needed like 4 or 6.
Yeah. It was, a hand. I think it was 4. Yeah, we've done that a couple times on you, and you've bailed us out a few times.
Yeah, we do that with a lot, and in our, because I get it. I think me as an owner of this company, from what I've gone through with like alarms and being the president of sales and running like the other side, I get it. I get it where apparel's kind of an afterthought sometimes until it becomes really, really important.
Like, oh shit,
and
we need this.
Yeah. And so I think you're so focused on, like in this situation, it was for your podcast. You're focused on equipment, on lighting, on making sure that everyone is in their spots where they should be. Cameras are working. And then you're like, oh man, we should probably be wearing shirts with our logos on them. What are we doing?
Yeah.
So we can do small runs. We can do very big runs. We actually do a lot of apparel for Bucked Up.
Yeah.
We manufacture. So they're doing, they're one of our bigger clients and they're pumping through so much apparel, dude. Those guys are crushing up there.
They do a lot.
Yeah, you know those guys a lot. Yeah. So they're one of our. We do a lot of swig stuff. We do stuff for eBay. So we can do really, really big billion-dollar companies, and then we can do shirts for a podcast that have really two guys who need the shirts.
Yeah.
So that's our economy of scales. We can do whatever. We can do little t-ball teams that need jerseys. So
yeah, tell me. I've noticed you guys kind of do this like give back thing with like sports teams, or tell us a little bit about that and what made you think like, hey, this is an opportunity to like give back to the community a little bit.
Yeah, I have 2 passions. I have one son. I have a beautiful wife, Ashley. She runs our shipping department. I have a son who's a twin to a daughter. She dances, and then I have another daughter that's 9, just turned 9. She dances, and my son. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm crazy competitive. He kind of gets, because he's my son. He's my dude. So like I coach him in hockey, in basketball, in baseball, in football. And there, as a coach, it's hard to create team culture with apparel because there's these minimums and you have to order 25. And so you, as a coach, you put out like a, hey, who wants apparel? And you get like 18 people like we do, and you're like, all right, I'll just front, and then maybe the other 7 will sell, but then they don't, so you're left holding that bag. But then the other side of the coin is you're chasing Venmos because whose ever's parents didn't pay, so you're like, hey,
can you send me that $12?
Yeah, or like 30 or whatever it is.
It's not a large amount. It's not that people intentionally forget about it, but they forget about it, and then you never get it.
And then it's just like, I'm not going to deal with it. Forget about it. So there's that aspect, but there's also aspect that youth sports these days are stupid expensive.
Oh my gosh.
Youth sports, youth dance, like it's
these competitive leagues,
bro, it's crazy. It is crazy. And so I thought, there's an issue here, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 issues. Youth sports is stupid, crazy, expensive, time consuming. And as a coach, I didn't want to deal with this side of it, which was building because also the other side of the coin is everyone wants gear. Everyone wants to wear Vibe Tribe, that's my baseball team, hoodie to a game. And so I came up with the idea that if we created a company called Gear Funds, the way that we do it is print on demand. Everything's print on demand anyway. We could have a whole team come in of 12 kids. And the other problem is like if you're doing hoodies, some people don't like the style of hoodie. Some people don't like it.
They want something a little bit different.
Some people hate my hat. Other people love it, right? It's fine. I don't care. And so this way they come in, they design their own apparel with their own logos. And then we heat press it, heat apply it right there for them. And then they take it out and they leave. They have the hoodie or t-shirt or long sleeve that they want, the hat that they want. And then everyone gets to kind of design their own thing. It's an event for the team building. And then at the end of the night, we tally up everything. So right now they got to go into our store and they do it.
Yeah.
Our storefront. We're working with some developers to create team stores, and we're going to have this is launching really soon, to where they can just order it from the site. We ship it to them. It's going to be
like, hey, we've got these 3 hoodies. We've got these 3 t-shirts. Like, I've seen companies do that before. I think that's awesome.
We're not reinventing that, Will, but the value that we add to these teams is every month we PayPal them, or at the end of their event, we'll send them 15% of whatever they spent. So we had a team come in 2 weeks ago. They spent $5,100. So I gave him $750 to the
Yeah.
team. I donated it. I'm a sponsor now of this team, and they told me that will pay for a whole tournament for them. So it's kind of cool that I killed the two birds with one. The coach didn't have to worry about chasing Venmos. He didn't have to worry about design, because not a lot of coaches know design. He didn't have to worry about any of those things. And then everyone on his team is now showing up to these games just decked out head to toe, and he loves it because it's culture building. And then the other aspect with team sports, dude, it's crazy. You got these 10-year-olds who their dads think they're going to the NFL and they haven't even hit puberty yet, right?
Yep.
And so they're like moving their kids from team to team because this team's better, this team's better, this team. Well, dude, if they got like a bunch of gear, I think they get a little more sticky.
There's a little more like,
there's a little more like, no, man, I'm this team. Like, this is my team. What are we doing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's been really, really cool and received really, really well. And when we have a big old check, we take a picture right there, you know, they love it. It's cool. So that's a cool program that we run. If anyone's interested, just hello@Lift Threadz, just send us an email.
Yeah.
Lift Threadz with a Z, but yeah. So
Nice.
that's something we do that's really cool. I think that gives back to a lot of teams. I think we've donated back in the 6 months that we've been doing this. I think we've donated back like $22,000, which isn't
That's
a ton.
awesome. Yeah, but
But it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we've enabled some people, like some teams use it for jerseys, for an additional jersey. Some teams use it just for entry fees. Some teams, I've had a team use it to help one of their athletes that parents were struggling a little bit, and they used it to help with their dues, their fees, you know, and it's pretty cool. But I love hearing those stories. Yeah. So being a coach myself and then having this ability to do this, I put them together, and I think and once we launch our software, I think it'll be gangbusters. We'll do pretty well, I think.
I think that's really cool because, you know, to your point, it gives these kids kind of like they feel like they're part of something. They're part of the pack, right?
Yep.
Which today I look at these youth sports and kids in school, and, you know, there's not like the school pride that there used to be, like, right? And I just think because it's kind of like they're chasing all these other things, and maybe to some extent missing out on like the childhood and the connections of like friendships, and because, you know, they're being pushed and drug all over the place because, you know, oh, there's this one this weekend, right?
Or this team, that team. This team's better. This team has a better coach. This team has this.
This team has more money.
It's like, bro, they're like 7, dude. Like, just let him be a kid.
I remember being a ref, right? So I grew up in Murray and played Murray Rec, and being a referee. And I can't remember how old the kids were, but they were young enough to where you're playing basketball. They would do the dribble, pick the ball up, take a few steps, dribble, pick the ball up, take a few steps. Like, they hadn't gotten the concept of like dribble and walk, right? And I remember there were just parents that were just going batshit crazy. That's a travel.
Oh, dude.
And I was like, these kids are like 6 years old, man. What, like?
If I called every single thing, we're not going to play again.
Yeah. This is going to be like, basically, we're just going to stand at half court and be like, all right, travel. Yeah. Other team ball. Travel. Oh, travel. Yep. Other team ball.
Double dribble, travel. Oh,
yeah. And it's like, just the kids are here to have a good time,
and
right?
it's worse now.
Oh, dude.
It's worse now. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a coach, and he cut 6 kids from his baseball team. And I was like, that's crazy. He's like, I didn't cut one kid. I cut their parents. He said their parents were so toxic and so bad. I told him I didn't want them on my team. Kids were good, and it wasn't the kids' fault. And I'm like, man, that's sad, dude. That's sad, dude.
It is.
But kids' sports, that could be a whole nother 2-3 hour podcast.
Oh, man.
Because like even now, like with the high school, with like the landscape of high school sports, where you can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you can transfer wherever you want. And so like you got these kids who grew up with their friend group, and then all of a sudden, one goes here, one goes here, one goes here, and I think they're missing out on some of that. Like, I played for Bingham High School from the time I was 8 years old till I graduated as a senior, and I bled Bingham blue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was a minor from the time I was 8 years old, and you told me different, man. Those are fighting words.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of that anymore.
No.
You know. So,
yeah. It's sad, really, but so tell us a little bit about kind of some of the things you see companies maybe they failed to do, or some of the things that you've helped companies, you know, maybe stand apart a little bit. Obviously, we've talked about how you have these blanks that are much higher quality that can help set companies apart. But talk a little bit about some of the other services you guys do through Lift Threadz. I know we've got a run of t-shirts that we're going to put together for our contracting company. And we're going to send guys in to try on what size they want, and then we'll get, a handful of them printed. But talk to us a little bit about, maybe some pitfalls you see some people make, and in areas where you feel like, hey, we can help out, or these are things that we've done.
That's a great question, and it's something I'm crazy passionate about. So think about your favorite sports team. I know you're probably like, what does this have to do with anything?
Yeah, no,
Who's your favorite sports team?
Football. I'm a big TB12 fan.
Okay.
Tom Brady. And so I've got some New England Patriots stuff.
Okay.
And, I graduated from BYU, so I've got a little bit of BYU stuff.
Think back when you were a little kid, like a little kid.
Oh man, I was like, I bled BYU. We went to, and my dad, we went to the games. I was at the game where Ty Detmer beat Miami. If you remember that. Like,
yeah. That was a good time with, you think about, you probably had BYU shirts.
Oh yeah.
That's what you wore.
Yep.
Right. What I'm getting at is, like, when I was little, I got a San Francisco 49ers hat. I don't remember where I got it from. And I was a fan because I wore a hat. And sometimes people are like, oh, you're a Niners fan? Like, oh, Dallas Cowboys, Niners were clashing at that point, And you had to almost like, hey, no, I'm a Niners fan. I'm a Steve Young guy. I'm a Jerry Rice guy, I'm a
defend your position a little bit.
Ricky Waters guy,
Yep.
Well, I firmly believe that culture in a company is so important. Any company, any size. And I think that people are missing the mark with their apparel because they skimp on it. Like, they're gonna give all their employees a Gildan shirt with a one color print on it because it's cheap. Two things: no one's gonna wear that shirt, and they're almost gonna be like, "What the hell? This is what I'm worth." Like, come on, man. And so there's a company called Vivint. Everyone knows Vivint. They're a huge. Todd Peterson did the best thing. Todd Peterson did with that company is created a culture, and I kid you not, he did the best gear. He went to China. He paid a dude a lot of money to design a Vivint line where he would basically dupe like a Nike jogger or like a Lulu hoodie, and then he would give them to his guys, and his guys wore the crap out of it. And guess what? As bad as BYU Utah rivalry is, back in the day, the Vivint Pinnacle rivalry was just as bad. But when you're going to these events where they live in the same community, and there's dudes wearing these like nice Vivint hoodies, and then there's the Pinnacle guys that weren't like, and I worked for Pinnacle, but we didn't have good gear. Yeah. Like, there was just something about the pride that those guys took in their gear. So to go back to your question, so many companies miss the mark when it comes to gear because they know they have to have it. Yep. So they skimp, and it's like, dude, no one's going to wear that, and you're kind of sending the wrong message. So our goal is to find a price point that works for these companies. And I don't care what you do, landscape, construction, sales, your brand, understand that what you give to these people, that's what they think that they're worth, right? So if you give them a nice like hoodie like this versus like a Gildan one that's going to box up and you're going to see a belly button, and I don't like seeing no one likes seeing my belly button. Like, so we help companies understand the value in building a brand with culture for their business. Like, we say this all the time to clients. Our goal is that your guys will wear this stuff on a Friday night. Our goal is to put your logo on something that's so discreet but so awesome that they're like, I'm going to wear this on a Saturday night to the club. I'm going to wear this to the gym because it's better than my Live Fit. It's better than my Dark Sport. It's better. And I want to wear this with the company logo on it because then that builds culture, but then also it creates conversation. Yep. Oh, like, what's that? That's a dope shirt. What is that, right? I think our biggest help with these companies is I will sit down with them because I'm so passionate about it, and I will say, you're missing the mark. You're missing the mark because no one's wearing your gear. You might as well throw $200 in a trash can and set it on fire because no one's wearing a Gildan shirt. Yeah. No one's wearing this itchy box shirt that shrivels up when you wash it. Like, spend a little more time, get better quality gear, and your people are going to build a culture on that gear because back to like my 49ers hat, I had to defend that. Yeah. Well, people are wearing this out. It's a conversation piece, and they're defending that. So our goal is to get the gear into people's hands and in their clients, in their community's hands that they're going to want to wear on a weekend, not just during 9 to 5, but they're going to want to wear it on a weekend. Yeah.
Well, I think, I think of the saying, look good, feel good. Yeah. Right. And, every time Christmas comes around, there's, some of my subs are out giving out oh, hey, I got this t-shirt or whatnot. And admittedly, there's been times where I'm like, oh, hey man, I appreciate, I won't wear it.
Yeah.
Like, I won't wear it. Right. I think about a guest we had come on the podcast, a little bit. Her episode hasn't launched yet. And, I asked her what size t-shirt she wanted. And she's like, oh yeah, I can't remember, large, extra large or whatnot. So I had it out and she was kind of like, oh, these are like really nice t-shirts.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, in that case, actually, I'll take a small, because I was planning on just giving it to like my kids for like a pajama, but like I'm not gonna give this to my kids, right? And we do the Yeti tumblers, and so she's like, yeah, I'm keeping the t-shirt for myself and I'm keeping the tumbler for myself, as opposed to like, oh, here's some crappy swag, like
Dude, and you know what's gonna happen with that? She's gonna wear that and she's gonna be like, did you guys see what I got? Like, this is awesome. Versus like a kid who's wearing it at night because it wasn't good. Like, spend the extra money and make it a marketing piece rather than just a garbage can of fire. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think for me, that like, if there's one lesson to companies is like, don't skimp on.
That's the mistake you see companies make.
Yeah, man. Like we've had companies come to us and they're like making so much money. I know they're making tons of money. And they're like, hey, we've got 300 employees. Our budget is $8 per employee. And I'm like, bro, you make like $100 million a year. Like, give them something they're going to enjoy. And also, I think too, and you said, you nailed it right on the head. You said, oh, thanks, dude, I'm not going to use this. Yeah. Like, that's almost like it's embarrassing because, like, not to you, but like he's like, oh man, like, think he could have used that as a really cool opportunity to like, hey man, here's this I value you enough to spend $40 on this really nice polo for you. Really nice. And you'd have been like, dope, I'm wearing this. You know what I mean?
See, I did get 2 coats that I was like, oh yeah. See? And I'm like, I'll take that.
Exactly. And now it's going to cost a little more money, but that's what, like, the branding, the write-off, like, what are you doing it for? I think people get caught up in like, man, this is my budget, I can spend this much, but they don't understand the reason behind it. Like, might as well not do anything. Like this, for instance, you know how many of these that I have at my office from China that we bring in? And I saw this when I walked in and I was like, those are dope. Like this is so clean. This is going to go in my office and I'm going to use this every day.
Yep.
Because Yeti's a good brand and this is so well done. Like this brand, like, and you just gave it to me and I'm super thankful for it. And I have a ton of these, but this one's I'm going to use this one. The ones from China they're still good, but I mean, this is dope. And also to me, this says that you guys were really thoughtful in knowing that, like, I'm going to give them something because they took time out of their day to come in here and do this podcast. Like that's and just, if we can just go into the logo, some logos are so bad. This logo, I saw this logo because when you said, hey, can we do this in 3 days? What did I tell you? I need to see your logo.
Yep.
Because if it's a garbage logo, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Everything about this logo is so clean. And I can tell, like, it's just clean. The logo talks about what you do. It says a lot, but it doesn't say everything. So it's a conversation piece. Like, and I knew it would be I knew your logo would be dope because it's you, right? Like, but yeah, dude, this is such a clean logo. Like I think it's such a good logo, and it's going to be a noticeable logo. So you guys did a phenomenal job. But
thanks.
Like some logos, dude, they're like 34 colors mixed inside a circle this big with like a dude with a flamethrower, and it's like a lawn care business. You're like, bro, let's fix this. If you're gonna design a logo, geometric logos, very geometric, very clean, like clean lines. That's the easiest way to brand.
Well, and then you then either you have an idea of what it is, or it's legible, right? I mean, I've looked at a few logos, and every once in a while I'll see subcontractor on the freeway, and I'll like try and take a picture of like their logo or phone number, and there's times I'm like, I can't even. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on here. What are you trying? What service do you offer? Which is a super super cool point. That
I'm batshit crazy about logos and symmetry and geometric like logos.
So do you guys offer logo? Sorry to interrupt you.
There, we design awesome logos. I have a girl, phenomenal. Just
so you guys kind of can help. Like I come to you, I say, hey, I've got this company. I don't really have a logo, or I did a logo search and I got this off of Google. Help me out here. So you guys can help actually kind of create that branding, create that logo.
So this guy, I won't say the company name.
So do you guys do like websites as well for people?
we design, build websites. We actually will do your content creation. We'll run your Instagram. We have a podcast studio in our shop that you can use. Like, we'll do all of your digital creation. We'll do your flyer ads. We'll do your email marketing. We'll do all of that. We want to be where your company comes in and says, I don't have a marketing department. Can you be my marketing department? And we say, sure.
And help me do my branding.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
We had a guy come in the other day and his logo was not good. And so the first thing I said, he wanted a bunch of shirts. I said, do you really want to brand with that? And I'm pretty straightforward. This is how I am. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, your logo's garbage, bro. I said, what are you doing? Like, what is your logo even? It was 3 letters. They were spread out like this far. Like, it was just, if you're watching this, bros, I told you. But so I said, listen, give us 3 days. Let us design you a different logo. His new logo is so freaking dope. And it tells a story, right?
Yeah.
It tells exactly what they do. And people can see that. And it's like yours. It tells what you do. It's not just 3 letters. The 3 letters are incorporated, but there's an icon logo. There's a 3 letters. So we can use the icon alone, which you can do.
Yep.
You can use the full logo, but without the podcast. You can use it with there's variations depending on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, because that logo won't fit on, your Instagram.
Yeah.
You're right. It's like, well, what are you doing? Well, okay, we've got to change it up. Yep.
And
exactly.
the icon's dope, and it's recognizable enough that it could tell you. It tells a story.
Yeah.
And so, like, I go back to Vivint because those guys, man, I've studied how they got Vivint is vive, I guess, is in Spanish for live.
Oh, yeah.
And int is intelligently, live intelligently.
Oh,
Vivint.
yeah.
How freaking cool is that?
Yeah.
And then their icon logo is just a little symmetrical, geometric house. And it's recognizable. And there's a little period behind it because they can do the house with solar. They can do the house with home automation. They can do the house with home. And they can brand that in a million different ways. Their marketing department at Vivint is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it shows, right? It's a $1 billion company, multi-billion-dollar company. It's been sold a few times, but like, dude, they clean up, man.
Yeah.
Like
no, they do.
Even you look at the bucked up logo, and I'm like, what? When I first saw them, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
But it goes to show that like it has nothing to do with bucks.
Yep.
But they've branded that so well. You see that and you know immediately what it is.
Yep.
And they have the icon, the buck, and then they have bucked up. They have buckedup.com. They have bucked up energy. They have bucked up
something like labs. Yeah.
Listen, success leaves clues, right? And you see all these big brands like Google, super recognizable. Facebook, super recognizable. Like, and then you get these brands that come to my office and it's like, did you throw paint at a wall and then took a picture of it? Like, what? Where did you come up with?
Is this art?
What story does this tell? And I think I've offended a few clients because that's their baby and I got to tread lightly, but
yeah,
I'll tell how it is. So that's one thing. Back to your question. Sorry, that was the longest answer probably, but
no, you're good.
I think for us, I have a team of people, and my team, by the way, you've seen it. The best part about my business is I love going to work every day because my wife works with me every day, but it's a bunch of moms that come in. They drop their kids off at school. They come in. They work their guts out. They talk. They have fun. And then when their kids get out of school, they go pick them up and go home. And those women are the best, hardest working employees I've ever had. And then I've got 2 essentially full-time employees that are just incredible. I don't have a male employee. They're all female. And I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't by design.
Yeah, but just the way it happened.
And dude, they all just crush it. They just crush it. And I just think the world of every single one of them. They're so awesome. And then I have like 5 of my afternoon, nighttime crew that are just high school, but they're also female.
Yeah.
And they just come in and crush it, dude. It's the best. I love it. But yeah, people think that's interesting because I'm very alpha male, very like, you think I'd want to be with my bros every day like the dogs, No, like I go in and just get ripped on by these girls all day long. You've seen it when you're there, but our culture there, I think it helps. I think a lot of clients like to come in because it's a very positive vibe when you walk into our office.
Yeah.
Again, you've seen it. Like, they're phenomenal. So yeah, so that helps. And they're not scared to tell people how it is too. Like we had a client walk in and they're like, oh, is this the guy with the bad logo? I'm like, shh, guys, but like, anyway, I love what I do. I'm super blessed, but
yeah. Well, as we're kind of winding down, tell me, are there any other businesses that you're currently involved in? Or are you kind of like moved away from some of the other entrepreneurial things that you're doing? I mean, I know you do a little bit of real estate, you have some Airbnbs, things like that, but or is this kind of like, hey, this is your passion, you've kind of left the other stuff by the wayside and you're like, boom, this is where I'm dumping
that's such
my time and energy?
Question. I have a really good friend named Kevin Trost, mentor to me, just such a good dude, and he's told me, I've worked with him since 2013, and he's told me, dude, stop doing everything and do one thing. Because I used to, you know me, I used to do alarms, and then I would do a little bit of this, and I owned a trailer dealership, and I had a pest control company, and I did landscaping on the side, and he would always tell me, stop, dude, you're so talented, but you can't be talented. He would say this all the time to me, dude, you're the jack of all trades, master of none. And he's like, there's not going to be anyone that goes to you because you're the master of none. You're the guy that people go to other people because they're the. So I took that to heart. So I sold the trailer dealership 2.5 years ago. I stopped just cold turkey doing alarms and solar. I've sold pest, everything else that I've done. I've just exited and put all my eggs in this basket, and it's been the best thing I've ever done because I can just focus on my business and what I love. I don't love selling trailers. I love the guys I work with over there. They're the best dudes ever, but I didn't love selling trailers, but so no, this is all I do. I mean, like you said, I have my Airbnbs, I have my rental properties, and I have my money in strategic other places that are very passive. Yeah. But as far as like every day 9 to 5, well, it's like more like 6 to 10. Yeah. Like
that's the way it is when you're a business owner.
Yeah. Well, 24/7, right? But yeah, this is the one thing I do. And what that does is it gives me the ability to look really deep inside my business and figure out where our flaws are, where we can improve and what we can do to be better, and where we should strategically put our dollars to make our business grow and scale. Yeah. So it's just this, man. But inside of Lift Threadz, we have our fulfillment company where we will pick, pack, and ship for any business. We have our manufacturing company where we'll manufacture like a bucked up. We have our print on demand service, and then we have our digital side. So I guess inside of the umbrella of what we do, but it's all correlated to one thing. Yeah. Rather than doing like door to door sales and trailers, it's all stuff.
Well, I think about there's kind of this vertical integration, right? So so you're doing this branding, and it's like, okay, we're doing websites to correlate with that branding. Okay, and you're not over here like, oh, hey, you want us to put your sod in this weekend? We can put your sod in this weekend, right? That's what it was. You've got this vertical integration, which then it makes sense to kind of have these different entities that are all feeding into this vertical integration. Yeah, and so
it's been helpful to keep everything like in alignment. Yeah, because it's not like, oh, I'm jamming here, but I've got to go over here, like you said, and like sod someone's lawn. And you know how it is with construction sometimes, like it's you. Yeah. Right? Like, so I'm literally over there like digging holes. So, and the best part about this right now is I just absolutely love what I do. And I love the people I work with. My clients are the best. Like, I mean, I had a client come over yesterday. We're doing, have you heard the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, that show on Hulu?
Oh, yeah.
We're doing their branding. Those guys are the coolest, man. They're so fun. But they come over yesterday. We hung out with them for like 2.5 hours. Like, I like going up to Bucked Up. Those guys, good dudes. The swig people are, all of my clients. I feel like the very most blessed human because I literally love what I do every day, and my clients are just the best. I mean, like I have, like you, we didn't talk for how long. I get a text. I'm like, hey, man, I freaking love this guy. Come in, dude. Like, heck yeah, It's fun reconnecting, and it's fun being the guy that can do the things that other people can't to help people out in a bind. Yeah. So,
well, tell me as we wrap up, I'm curious. Before we finish, I want to know how people can reach out. Right? I know you mentioned the email, but what do you think? What do you think was maybe the shift, or how did you end up kind of here? Maybe in your childhood there was something that you did, like, obviously you talked about the 49ers hat, but your dad's in construction. Obviously branding and apparel is different from construction. And like my dad was a tech guy. I can clearly identify like, okay, this is when I got into construction and this is why I stayed, right? What is it for you in, maybe your childhood or maybe, teenage years that you feel like, okay, I didn't know right away, but as soon as I landed in it, I was like, this is my thing.
So my dad's my hero. I love him. He's the reason why I knew I didn't want to go into construction though. I seen him on roofs as a 45-year-old man, like 5/8 inch plywood on your shoulder type stuff. Like he was a dog, dude. He still does that. He still lift anybody out there right now. Like he's 67 years old or something. Like he's a dog. But I knew for sure I did not want to do that. And because of the way I was brought up in construction, I didn't know you could just be a foreman. I didn't know you could own a company and not be a dude.
Not be like
every day.
Digging the hole every day.
And my dad was a guy like, man, he's the OG guy. You don't mess with those dudes, man. They're tough as nails. Even to this day, he whooped my ass if he needed to. He's just tough, man. But so I knew, because I was giving up my summers to go work with him, it instilled with me the desire to make money and what money could do for you when you have it, because you worked hard for it, and how you should spend it. But it also made me realize that I did not want to do that. I mean, my dad's, and I feel bad about this day, my dad's goalie had 3 sons and a daughter, and he wanted to be Boise Johnson and Sons, right? Yeah. And none of us actually took up the trade. My older brother would have, but anyway, he tore his ACL, started in real estate, and took off from there. You know, my brother, he's pretty awesome at that.
Yeah.
But I knew I didn't want to do that. And then I have this weird thing where I don't like to be uncomfortable with the things on my butt. Like I'll go to a beach and I won't sit down all day because I don't want sand on my skin. And so I'm very, very particular about material. I dress comfortable. I don't dress to impress anybody ever. Yeah. Maybe right now, maybe I feel like I feel pretty good, but
like, you're looking sharp today.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. But like, I'll go feel fabric and I'll close my eyes and I'll just be like, oh my gosh, this would be amazing on my skin if we could do this in a long sleeve. Like I'm obsessed, and I have been, and I'll buy, like, I remember I have a Lululemon hoodie that we duped, from like 15 years ago that I still wear because the fabric is so nice. Yeah. So I knew from a long time ago that there was something inside of me that wanted to create, and I wanted to create something that other people could enjoy. And I didn't know what that was, but I knew for sure I did not want to do manual labor. Yeah. Even though I did end up having a few companies that we did do that, and I did do manual labor, and my dad instilled in us hard work. And so that's kind of how I got to where I'm at, I think. And then just, you know how it is. Once you start something and you put all your effort into it, it seems that chips seem to fall where they're supposed to. Yeah. And so it kind of led to these other opportunities that now we're doing. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate it. It's I've known you for a number of years.
Yeah.
I've seen this, the birth of Lift Threadz. Tell us how people can reach out and again, help out with all the branding, apparel. Yeah. You guys kind of, are a little bit full service there, but tell us how people can reach out. And
so shameless plug. So we're giving away right now, the giveaway model. Yeah. Every dollar you spend enters you in to win a ticket. So we're giving away two all inclusive. I said exclusive, but it's inclusive. All inclusive trips to Punta Cana. It's a really, really nice all-inclusive resort there. Airfare, everything paid for. For every dollar you spend on Lift Threadz with a Z.com, get you entered in to win. And then, so if you want to do that, just go to the website, use code Jonny20, JONNY20, get you 20% off. If you want to up your branding for your company, email hello@liftthreadz with a Z.com and schedule an appointment. Come in. If you come into our warehouse, as you saw, schedule an hour because you're going to be there an hour because there's so much stuff to see and learn there. But liftthreadz with a Z.com, hello@Lift Threadz. And you'll either talk with me, Katie, or Whit. And Katie and Whit are phenomenal. Whit's actually the one who does all of our design for logos. I think you met both of them. But even if you just want to come in for like a consultation and just see what we can do, we'd love to have you in. So just email hello@liftthreadz with a Z.com and we'll get you in.
Okay. So we love it. Well, dude, thanks for taking time out of your busy day, and tell us a little bit about how, all companies, but, specifically where we kind of cater to, the construction side of things, and definitely construction seems to lag behind a lot of industries in technology, apparel, branding. And so hopefully we can.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I love working with construction companies. Out of all the niches we do, construction is my favorite because you can make a big difference.
Yeah. A big impact.
Yeah. So love working with construction companies. So anyway.
Sweet. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
Okay.